Hey there, welcome to another album review, and today we actually have a suggestion that was sent in by someone, and it's by a pretty new band, I guess, called Heimwerker, I guess, because they're German, in danger of collapse. And look, sometimes people send me stuff, and it's not the first time that I've reviewed stuff that has been from artists that are just starting out, that it's their first year or whatever. I always look when it comes to music, except for Eurovision, I guess. But when it comes to music, I always like to, give people a chance and sort of even if I don't like it, try and understand why people do like it and why, like, the artist did the things that they did and whatnot, and just try and, just be understandable and whatnot. Because I do think that, as far as music goes, it's a pretty good medium, and people sometimes, it can be hard to understand, that's the thing, it can be hard to understand. So I like to give it a little bit of a leeway, I guess, and to try and just let sort of the songs have a little bit of a breathing room rather than me just quickly striking them down or whatever. Now, as far as I could pretty much see, this band is like, they say they make bad music, like they say their music is horrible. And they're completely correct, honestly. In terms of self-awareness, they're 10 out of 10 on that, because yes, their music is completely horrible, and I don't think that it's actually any good. Honestly, it's very weird, because this is like sort of a punk album, but it's like punk in the worst ways possible, where you sort of just have these. First of all, this album is like an hour long. It has 15 songs. The last song is called Noise Pollution, completely correct. Oh my god, this song's horrible. This song's just noise, and I did not enjoy it whatsoever. I think it's just very, very, bad type thing. Not even like in an endearing way, it's just bad. You people already probably know how I feel about most of these. When it comes to just noise songs, I don't like them. I get it. I think like the first band that did it, they were like, this is actually pretty good, because it's actually like, there's a novelty to it. Now there isn't. There really fucking isn't. It's actually fucking like, okay, look, we get it. You want to be goofy, whatever. You want to be like, an artist or whatever. It's not good. As for the rest of the album, at least it appears pretty self-aware when it comes to how horrible it is. Like, in a way, it's endearing how horrible it is. Okay, look. Take Clowncore, for example, right? Clowncore is not a good band, right? A lot of the songs that they make are not very friendly or very good or whatever. But they're good in the sense of the music that they make is so out there, it's so ridiculous, that it kind of works, right? And I think that if you want to make the type of music that is so horrible, I think people have this understanding that, I'm making good music is hard because you need to put a lot of effort into it, right? So, but making bad music is really easy because you just need to be bad at it. Wrong. Making good bad music is also a pretty good skill, because you also need to put effort into it. I have never heard a song that was bad, that was actually enjoyable to listen to, from people that didn't put any effort into what they were doing, right? Even albums that people notoriously cite as being incredibly bad, like, for example, what's that album? I forget the name. Oh my god, did I really forget the name? It's whatever. There's a couple of albums that are really bad. Actually, no. Now I need to actually go and research this, because I'm actually forgetting the album, but it's something related to. Let me actually go and check that out. I should not be doing this right now, but I kind of do need to. Let me go. Corey Feldman, there we go. Corey Feldman, pretty notoriously bad artist or whatever. But even then, when you actually listen, Angelic to the Core, there we go. I remembered it. It took me a few seconds, but I've remembered it. That album is really bad, actually, right? But it's good and people enjoy it because there was actually a lot of effort put into it, right? So even though the album was supposed to be good, it ends up being good bad, and I do think that that's kind of a part of it. And I think that this album isn't as amazing at that, because I do feel that at certain points it just falls completely flat. First of all, the lyrics I think are on point. A lot of the songs especially are just very like stupid, and I think that that's probably one of the best parts of the album. As far as singing itself goes, it was mostly flat, like it wasn't funny, or like for example Clowncore, they have lyrics but they don't have singing, they just have like some noise type thing, right? That's pretty creative, and the instrumentals were, I mean, look, it's punk, you can't exactly like, I mean, it wasn't even punk, like sometimes it reminded me more of thrash than punk. And there was a lot of repetition. Like, there was a lot of repetition. There were times where you would literally go like 20 seconds with the same guitar riff just going on, just playing the same one, and just the guitar riff, by the way, nothing else, no other instrument, just the guitar riff, you know, and just sitting there like, okay, cool, and that's kind of what I mean. Like, you need to put effort to make it bad, and I just think that when it comes to this album, while there are parts that are definitely endearing, again, like I think the lyrics are probably the strongest point when it comes to the album being bad, and definitely look, I mean, it gets to a point where, again, like at least the band is self-aware and everything, and I think that, I mean, that's kind of the, at least I'm assuming that the point is like to make quote-unquote bad music, right, and bad quality music, but yeah, and there's parts that are definitely endearing, there's parts that are definitely, you know, entertaining, but there's others that fall completely flat, and in my opinion, I think this album would be better being shorter, like on the 40 to 45 minute range, I think would be better, because again, like some songs, and I think that's by far the major issue of this album, some songs just go on and on and on and on and on, and they really drag, right? Again, like taking Clowncore for example, they know when to like just cut the shit, you know, most of their songs are goofy as fuck, they're really stupid, but they do know how to, you know, like, again, like most of their albums are like what, 15-20 minutes, an entire album, you know, because they just know that, okay, at this point it's enough, we don't need to like drag it, because the more you drag it when it comes to goofy songs, the harder it is for people to appreciate it, because the point of a lot of goofy songs is that for the most part, when you're trying to be goofy at least, you actually do have a sort of like impact on the listener, right? The listener's like, oh shit, you know, I thought this was going to be good, because usually we have certain expectations of what, you know, the song is going to be or the music is going to be, and when it comes to like making bad music, you play with those expectations, right? So you sort of surprise the listener. But that's kind of the problem, is that surprise doesn't last forever, and you know, the shine sort of wears off, and I think that this album is definitely a little bit long on that regard. As far as the album, or as far as some parts of the music go, I mean, look, I didn't find it very inspiring as a whole. Like, I did feel like the album was a little bit all over the place, like there weren't really any riffs or anything like that I like genuinely enjoy type thing. I think it was kind of like basic, and again, like I think that was kind of the point was to be, you know, not like an amazingly, you know, complex technical album. It was just meant to be like fucking goofy, fucking around, you know, having songs like I Hate My Band, you know, or what was the other one, Bob Chihuahua, I think, was something like that. Again, like the point of the album is just sort of to be goofy, right? So it's not gonna have like super technical shit, or maybe it could, you know, it's a good way to subvert the, you know, genre that already subverts, you know, the genre. But yeah, overall, that's pretty much the point of the situation. As far as I can like tell my enjoyment of it, you know, my vibe meter is on a like 6 out of 10. I think 6 out of 10 is probably what I'm feeling. Like, look, if I was more, I guess, serious about like what good music is or whatever, this album would be way lower, because this album is just not a very like quote-unquote pleasant listen, right? So we sort of do need to go into it with a little bit more of a open mindset, especially if you don't like punk, or if you like punk, this is just your typical punk album where they don't know how to play their instruments. That's pretty much it. Although actually it might be a little bit too competent compared to a lot of punk bands that I heard from back then, because I've heard some really terrible punk bands, so this might actually be a little bit too competent to be on that on wavelength. Like, just imagine that this is basically like, you know, Metallica trying to figure shit out when they were teenagers, basically. I think that's a good way to put it. But yeah, 6 out of 10, and I'll see you tomorrow with another album review.